guys, Tim here with the Geekedupgaming Review Group. Anna's taking a nap and so is Holden, so they're not with me today. But I'm going to bring you guys a really exciting game called Angels, Micheal's War. And what it is a small box of all cards. There is two different decks, the Divine and the Infernal deck. So it'll be one blue and one red. And basically what you're going to do is take angels to defeat demons, acquire victory points, and then at the end of the game, whether the Divine deck, Infernal deck, or the three major victories come out and get claimed, that is when the game will end. So let's go ahead and go over to the box. I'll show you guys some of the cards and some of the great artwork on the cards. Do keep in mind this is a prototype pre-Kickstarter. They've already done their Kickstarter and they were funded before Gen Con. So the card game and everything is being printed. I don't know when that's supposed to release or anything, but let's go ahead and go over to the box, show you guys some of the cards, and show you guys how to play. Alright guys, so here you can see we have the box for Angels, Micheal's War. It's got a picture of Micheal's the Angel, and then on the sides it says Angels, Micheal's War, and then on the bottom has the copyright and everything. And then on the back it says gather angels, defeat demons, claim major victories. The war started when Lucifer tried to take the throne of God. Micheal and God's loyal servants defeated him. The war rages on today. Only now the angels fight on earth. We are one of Micheal's commanders. Gather angels to your cause, defeat demons, claim major victories. Welcome to Angels, Micheal's War, a light casual card game for 2 to 4 players. Inside this box is everything you need to play the game, including 70 cards and the rules of the game. So, and this is a small box version, so there are versions of the game that have a lot more. The rules are really simple. They are just a double-sided sheet. It shows you all how the victory points work, basically how you're going to play and everything. So you'll take your two decks and separate them, and you will have your Infernals, and then you will have your Divines. Now Divines are going to be good, and you know what, since I have a red and blue logo, let's do that. So you have your good side and your bad side, and this is just coincidence that it was blue and red. So the Divine side, what you're going to do is you're going to start with 3 cards. And I already have Micheal's favor, so let's pretend that didn't come up, and let's just draw a different card. Okay, now usually these would be in your hand, but to show you guys, I'll do it this way. Okay, I don't want that out either. You would shuffle that back in anyway. Apparently we didn't shuffle the last time we played. So you'll have 3 cards come out of the Infernal deck. And then you will use your 3 cards to defeat the demons. Now, some demons have different characteristics and details when they pop out, but they'll be like a special color. Like the purple ones are major victories that you saw me flipping out, but we did not need yet. So these are basically what the cards look like, so you can get a pretty good idea what the artwork looks like. The major victories are cards that are purple. Some of the special cards, like this one's called Favor, and this is Bane's Favor. And basically this card has a special text. It says Bane's Favor. This card can be defeated like a demon card. No demons can be defeated in the center row until this card is defeated. So to defeat a card, which I do not have enough to defeat that card, but these would not be in play yet. So let's just shuffle those back in. I would look at my cards and see if I can match it with any of those out there. I can't. So my opponent would go. So let's just pretend what I'm going to do is just draw a hand off to the side, and let's see if my opponent can take anything. My opponent can. They can play their Intercessor and Ferocious Angel, and what you're going to do is if this guy has 2 hearts, so you're going to play those cards, match those 2 hearts, and then you can claim that. But you also want to pay attention to the special text on some of the cards. Like this card, it's single-handed. If this is the only card in your hand at the start of your turn, it gets an extra faith, hope, or love symbol until the end of your turn. So it could have an extra, if it was the last card, I could actually play this by itself to take that demon, but assuming it wasn't, I have to use both, and then I claim that, and then it comes over here to my pile. And then, well, it would be my opponent's pile, assuming that that would be their hand. And then they would have 1 card left, and then they would go ahead and draw back up to 3. And then a new card would come out of the Infernal deck. So you'll only have 3 here, you'll have 3 in your hand, and your opponent will always have 3. So now it would be my turn, and now I could look to see if I had something to take out a demon. And I think I actually had this last turn and wasn't paying attention. I have 2 crosses, there's no special text. I can take out the Angel of Death with 2, and you're going to get points for your angel cards and the demon cards. So you get 2 VP for playing these, and 10 VP. So it's kind of cool because when you play the game, you can put up big numbers, and it feels like you've played more than what has actually gone on. Now, if they did no VP to the blue, the angels, then you wanted to play just VP from the infernals, that would be fine. Okay, so we have a major victory. The game will end if this deck runs out, or if this deck runs out, or if 3 major victories are claimed. So here's the first one. So let's look through the opponent's hand. They have 2 candles and a cross. This card needs a cross, candle, and a heart. So, my opponent cannot get that card. My opponent as well cannot get any of the other cards. Oh, yes they can. They can play their 1 candle for 1 candle. Now, this is human form. It says this card can affect demon cards with the human form ability, which we're not worried about that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to take 1 for 1. And then my opponent would draw another card. And then another card would come out of the Infernal deck. So then I would look at my hand, and I have a heart, a candle, candle, candle. Well, I can't acquire the major victory, so I will take my 3 candles and go ahead and take my demon. And the reason I'm doing that is because hopefully my opponent can't take that major victory, and I'll draw cards that will allow me to take the major victory. And I do. So now I have to wait for my opponent to go. They have a cross, 2 candles, and another cross. They can't take that major victory. Oh, but they might be able to take this one. And no, they can't. These are the same. These have the same attributes that are needed. So they can't acquire the heart either. So then it would go to me. I would go ahead and take my major victory. I would use all 3 cards to claim that major victory. Actually, I only have to use 2. Oh, now I have Michael's Pyre and Michael's Pyre. So that's cool. Okay, so now I have the icons to take this other major victory. Oh, and there's the 3rd one. Okay, so my opponent looks at their hand. They have a cross, 2 candles, and another cross. They have no way of taking any of these cards because they don't have any hearts. So then it would come back to me. I would claim the major victory. Another Infernal card would come out. And these 2 cards would be used. And then as you're playing, like Michael's Pyre, it says this card begins with -3 VP. This card gets 1 VP for each demon in your score pile. So you could save it and then, or just use it, because you're going to get VP points extra out of however many demons you have in your score pile. And then there's Amon Lee's Servant, which is redemption. This card gets 1 VP per card with the redemption ability in your score pile. So it's got a 0 down here in the bottom corner, but you could redeem as many points that you have redemption on, not including himself though. So that is basically how you're going to play Angels, Micheal's War, and I always called it Angels and Demons for some reason, just because that's the theme. So that's basically everything. I showed you guys how to defeat demons. I've shown you some of the characteristics in the text on the cards, claiming major victories, and how to win. So, and if you forgot how to win, it's when this deck is depleted, or this deck is depleted, or 3 major victories have been claimed. And that's 3 total. 2 on that side and 1 on this side, or 2 over here, 1 over there, or 1 for each player if you're playing 4 people, or 1 for each player if you're playing 3 people. So that is how you play. So we will go ahead and jump on over, and I will tell you guys what I think of Angels Micheal's War. Alright guys, so I've shown you guys some of the cards and how to play the game. I will now tell you guys my thoughts on the game. I really like it. Reason being is that it's really simple to play, as you saw. All you have to do is match the icons. There is some strategy to it on which cards you're going to keep in your hand, and which cards you're going to use when you need to use them. Certain cards are going to give you boosters by holding it in your hand. Some of them are not. So sometimes you want to play the cards that are not good first and keep them later. Micheal's Favor is a special card, and has special abilities, so when that pops up, you place it down immediately. It's worth 0 VP, but then eventually it gets more VP later. There's a couple cards that start with -3 VP, but then you calculate your demon cards, and then however many you have, -3, and that's the total amount for that card. So it's kind of cool having the different variations of cards, and everything else. It's basically Angels versus Demons, and I've been looking at a few games like that. I have another game, a TCG called Testament, which I'll bring you guys a review of that here soon. But that is a biblical type, and then this is Angels versus Demon Micheal's War. So Micheal is an angel, and he's got his other angels helping him basically fight off the demons. So this is a recommended game if you're looking for something quick, easy to learn, easy to play, not a lot to it, but it's flavorful in its own way. So yeah, that's everything I had to say. So I'm Tim with the Geekedupgaming Review Group, and this is Angels Micheal's War.